go in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another coaching call with Nido Marketing. So today we have Elizabeth Wachter with us to talk about email marketing. And it looks like right now we don't have any attendees. So we're just going to dive right into it as if, we were doing any other coaching call. If we do have attendees that come, feel free to chat in. And if you want to talk and you have some specific questions that you'd like to converse with or work through with our team, make sure you let us know in the chat section and then we can do that as well. But without further ado, Elizabeth, welcome to our coaching call.
Yeah, thank you for welcoming me, for inviting me about this topic. It's really like one of the topics which I really like email marketing. I think it's really a great way of marketing. So just quickly about myself, I'm account manager at Solutions 8 and I'm a certified digital marketer with Digital Marketer. I really like them and they really taught me so much, and here I'm happy because I can try out so many different things and ways, like especially in email marketing. And so, yeah, let's just start with it. Let's dive right into it. I have like some more general information about email marketing to show you how powerful it is, but also some specifics which I think make sense for Montessori schools, because of course it is a little bit different than, let's say, for Amazon or something like that, or any other larger e-com store. So the outline is, first we will be talking about like email marketing and that it can be a powerful tool. We will have some facts and stats about it. Then what's the general role of email marketing and what to focus on actually, because email marketing, okay, we know now email marketing, what shall we do here now? Then the 3 types of emails and their primary goal, and then the send types, and also 2 mistakes which sometimes email marketers do. And a promotional calendar, which is actually not too far from what you were talking about last week. You were talking about the content calendar. So actually you can like connect these 2 things together. I think that can for sure be very beneficial. And the last one is like email campaigns for Montessori schools. What makes sense for you as well. So let's get started. So email marketing can be a powerful tool. Why? Like 70% of people prefer to get permission-based promotional messages via email in comparison to direct mail or text, phone, or social media, which is like, that's totally understandable, right? If it's like permission-based, that means you were on a website and you gave your agreement and you said, yes, I want to sign up for these emails. I want to get newsletter, or I want to get this lead magnet. A lead magnet is like some special offer in exchange for an email address. We will get to that later as well. Welcome emails are incredibly effective. On average, 320% more revenue is attributed to them on a per email basis than other promotional emails. So what are welcome emails? We are talking about this also in our courses for Nido Marketing, and we even have like in our member bases, right, Danine? We have some, we have an indoctrination and engage email sequence, especially particularly for this purpose, like a welcome email. That's like if somebody comes new to a newsletter list or signs up for a lead magnet, they get a welcome email. So people are very likely to open these. Email subscribers are 3 times more likely to share content in social media than leads who came through another channel, according to Quick Sprout. That's the source here. So that's really interesting, right? That really shows you how powerful email is. That first you get somebody to subscribe to the email list, they get acquainted with you, they read your emails, and if they wouldn't like what you're sending to them, they just unsubscribe, but they probably stay on your list because they like what you're sending them. And so of course they're more likely to share your content on their social media profiles. It just makes sense, right? So if you do email marketing right, it can be like a very great and also almost intimate tool to interact with them, to provide them with information and knowledge, especially in the Montessori niche, I would say. And when a prospect or customer who opens an email on a mobile device opens that same email again on another device, they are 65% more likely to click through to your site or offering. What that tells us is to always make sure to have your emails optimized for all devices. phone, desktop, everything, like even HTML if you have the option for that. Some email service providers offer that particular option. Mm. And here are some facts about email marketing. Email marketing yields an average of 4,300% of return on investment for businesses in the United States. So, I mean, that just shows you how powerful it is and how really, I mean, there's definitely a way to leverage that for your Montessori school as well. Now here, that's more now for marketers, like email is the channel generating the highest ROI for marketers, again, return on investment. Now we have to know that marketing, digital marketing, marketers is a very it's a hard niche because these guys, they know what they are doing and they're really, how to say, try out every different things what they can in all these different digital marketing ways. So that email marketing is in this industry, in this niche on top, tells you something. It really tells you that it's very successful because this is a very hard business, like marketing and digital marketing for sure as well. Because these guys know more or less what they are doing. Other industries didn't maybe catch up with this yet. But if it's even in this industry, email is so beneficial, I mean, then of course, it's a no-brainer. Everybody should use email marketing.
You know, Elizabeth, it's interesting when I look at this. You know, email obviously by far is the highest, but then you have affiliate and paid search. And paid search, you know, is definitely one of our strengths when we're working with schools. Affiliate, what does that mean?
Affiliate, that's basically that you're promoting other people's products and you have like a deal with them that you get like an affiliate link. Basically, you get a commission for any sale of their product. What's an example for that? I think like Amazon has that, right? Amazon has also this affiliate, has many affiliate people. Like there's so many videos on YouTube, for example, where they are unpackaging products and then they have an affiliate link to Amazon underneath. Mm. And if people click on this link, and then no matter what they buy, I think within the next 24 hours, they get like a certain type percentage of that. So if you're lucky, somebody clicks this link and they buy something else within this 24 hours, even if they come back, they're now cookied. And this person who made this YouTube video about this product gets a percentage, even if they buy on Amazon something larger, like a piece of furniture or something. That's an example. And there are so many other ways of how you can make affiliate marketing. Also for lots of softwares like Shopify or also other software tools. I'm pretty sure Simplero has also an affiliate marketing offer.
That's interesting. So if I think about like for Montessori schools, you know, the people that we reach out to in the community partnering with, you know, pediatricians, or we've got like birth centers or early childhood programs before toddler age, infant programs. It'd be interesting to like tread that water a little bit of, you know, hey, like we can refer families to you. Please keep in mind that we're also a school and we, you know, we seek families at this particular age. You know, like let's say your program starts at 3 years old and they have programs for younger families. I mean, I feel like there's an opportunity there to be more direct with our ask. Because I think sometimes Montessorians can get, you know, like, oh, you know, we're so good at relationship building, but the direct ask of, hey, would you refer somebody to our school if we were able to also refer our families to your program? That gets a little tricky sometimes.
Yeah, and this is actually also a way how you can use email. And actually, I would come to that as well later. This is the way what you can absolutely also mention, right? You can ask for referral requests in emails. Like if somebody's already further down the journey, like the sort of customer journey, at some point when you know that they are there, they're happy with it, like you can ask them for a referral. Why not, right? I mean, you can just really also try out things. And I mean, affiliate for Montessori schools probably won't work as it would for like Amazon or something. Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a different model, but you can still use email for that. I think email would be a brilliant idea for that as well.
Right.
And also, let's get to paid search, right? Since we have paid search here. And paid search is actually one of these things which we also need to think about in terms of email marketing, because this is what drops people from searching in Google actually onto our page, onto our website, so that they can start the journey into our email marketing funnel. So it is closely connected, but yeah, I mean, you can see it separately, but they are also very closely connected, paid search and email marketing, because yeah, you need to get traffic in order to have somebody start an email journey.
Yeah, and if you have both of them running and you have good solid system where you have search that is really bringing in those families that you are, targeting, and they're engaging with you in a way that you're following up consistently, that journey goes hand in hand, because you can definitely have a strong email marketing campaign, but if you're not getting the inquiries or the forms that are being filled out on your site, or you're not gathering email addresses, then it's lopsided, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I would say we hop on to the next one, which I found also interesting to share, is like, yeah, think about that, right? For most people, like we just have to think about ourselves. Like checking email is like a complementary activity. You're sitting in the evening on the couch while watching TV, even, right? You browse on your phone and you check your emails. Even in the evening in the bed, maybe in the morning, right? I mean, okay, you can say it's a bit too much maybe for some people. Well, but this is how it is now. We are constantly on our phone and checking emails. So that's another reason why it's just a powerful tool. It can be a really powerful tool, right? Also on vacation even, right? When people want to like relax or something, or not think about work or whatever, right? Then the next one I found interesting, that using the word donate in your subject line can reduce open rate by 50% or more. Yeah, which was quite interesting for me, and I thought that could be an interesting information here as well. Then a study of 1 billion emails revealed that video emails CTR stands for click-through rate of 96% higher than non-video emails. So yeah, if we have videos and emails, I mean, it seems to be working a lot better than just text. So I think that's also something to really keep in mind. So if you have videos or something what you would like to share with your audience, definitely use email for that as well.
Yeah, what's nice about videos too is like you can have the video, and that's like, the main attraction of your email, and then you have a couple bullet points underneath it that reference what you're talking about in your video, or I guess, and gives them action items to do something. Because we definitely, in our emails, we want to engage with those that we're reaching out to, and we always want to give them an option to do that. And I'm sure, Elizabeth, you're probably going to talk about that, but I think especially when we're thinking about video emails, of course we want them to watch it and take away what's in that email, but let's get them to do something after it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also when we send content, people are different. I mean, some people like to watch, some people like to read. So that's why in general, it's always or often suggested, also when you create content, you can just also create content, you talked about it last week, but by embedding a video from your YouTube channel on your website, and by just having the content subscribed underneath, right? This can be a brilliant full blog article as well. And you don't really have to think about the content. I mean, sometimes for some people, it's easier to speak than to write. So you can make a video and then you have it subscribed underneath. Sure. So, and the same you can do for emails as well. So I think there are like really great ways how you can get inspired. So the next one, nonprofits lose about $15,000 per year in donations due to spam filters blocking fundraising campaign emails from prospects' inboxes. Yeah, I found this interesting because I think it's sort of an interesting information for our niche, maybe. I think I'm not sure about it, why that is, but my idea is that maybe that the domains are not properly set up. We had the issue currently as well that emails were like, they were not landing in spam, but they were tracked like with this red question mark, right? Remember? And it said this email could be from an unknown source. Right. And we just had to get back with the email service provider and set up some tracking in place, and the problem was solved. it was a little bit of a technical thing, but you can find so much information online, so this can be definitely easily solved.
Yeah, Elizabeth, how do you, small Montessori school, how do you identify that? Like let's say you've got this beautiful campaign. It is a fundraising campaign. You've written 3 or 4 amazing emails. They have videos, they have action items, and then they end up in somebody's spam folder. How do you check to make sure that's not happening? And if it is happening, how can you fix it?
The only way I think how you can find out about that is if you test it. Testing, and testing again. So many things in like digital marketing are really about testing. That's just how it is. I would suggest to have like at least 1, 2 other emails which are not like connected with your work domain. Let's say you have your work domain is danine@montessorischool.com, and you want to send it through this email. That you send it to these other 2 emails, which are your normal danine@gmail.com or danine@gonzalez.gmail.com. You send it to these and you see what happens. Maybe you can even ask your colleagues if they can give you their personal email addresses and say, hey guys, I'm testing it today. Can you let me know where it ended up? And I think this will for sure help you to uncover that.
Yeah. Good pro tip. I like that.
I mean, of course, you have to ask around a bit, but you can create yourself a list of emails, like you call it test list or something, and you just always use them. Mm-hmm. And I think this should work. Sometimes also people will tell you, right? They will come to you and say, hey, I can't find the email. And then it turns out it was in the spam. Sure. And then, then you have to start investigating a bit. It's not always easy to find out, but there are ways.
Sure, and being proactive will help so that when somebody does bring it to your attention, it's not like a year later and you're like, wow, I just missed a whole bunch of people because it ended up in which, I mean, I imagine that's why the number is so high for your last fact there.
Yeah, I mean, it is high, but it's also not high if you consider with like how much money is made through emails. So but I think it's maybe not so high because nonprofits means like maybe there's not so much money available to really invest into that and dive deeper, I think, and that's how these mistakes can happen.
Yeah, and time and also just understanding how that whole ecosystem works, unless you have a marketing degree or a marketing background, that's something that you may miss, but it's a crucial piece. That's why I'm so thankful that you're here.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I really like email marketing. Mm-hmm. So let's see, what's the general role of email marketing? So we have here all these points which are here, like branding, traffic, create traffic to certain blog posts, engagement, get people like to engage with your brand, direct sales, of course, referrals. Oh, no, this pops up. Let me move it. Referrals, this is what we were talking about before, like affiliates sort of, in a sense, in a way, right? Maybe you have a brand or something what you want to promote, like, or what I was thinking for Montessori schools, what could be interesting. I mean, Montessori schools are local businesses. So you probably have local connections, like somebody is bringing lunch for the children, right? Somebody who maybe locally prepares it. So you can use emails to give them shout outs or something to really create stable and local businesses where you like work together with other businesses in your area, that you connect with them. And I think this can give you also more stability and them as well if you maybe build up a network. So that was my thinking. Mm-hmm. Reactivation, that's if you have like a list with email subscribers who are like there more than 60 days and didn't open any emails, then you reactivate them through another email, or you try to. Retention is to keep them. This is when you have a subscription product, which actually Montessori schooling is, right? Because you want to keep children longer there, from toddler through elementary school and so on, in high school if you offer that. So it is very, very viable for that as well. And acquisition, like getting new customer or getting them to purchase something. So when I thought for Montessori schools, we need to focus on branding, obviously, makes sense. Establishing our school as a strong authority. Engagement, like information and updates, what's going on in your school. Maybe you have done some renovations, or you have gotten some new materials, or new projects, summer camps, whatever, right? Retention, that's what I just mentioned, keeping our members informed and connected with our Montessori school so they want to stay with us as long as possible, right? Does that make sense? Would you say the same?
Yeah, one question that comes up often when we think about, an automated email sequence or email nurture inside of MailChimp when someone signs up, do we, after they receive that, put that email also in our general email of like weekly blogs and emails so that they're also made aware of it, of what's going on, currently in our school and what's happening? Do we create a whole separate list for prospects and current families, or do we put them all in one? And I know different members do different things, but it comes up, because when you really think about the details and you get to the little pieces, how detailed do you need to be, in that piece? I just asked you a bunch of questions, but I think it's one of those things that comes up where when our prospects come in, do we put them in the list that we have already, or do we create a whole new one just for them?
I think it depends on what they were choosing, what they were picking, they were interested in, right? That's where it goes into the nitty-gritty of like setting up segmentation and segmenting them out. Let's say they were interested into the toddler program. So ideal would be if we would have like a tag firing them, which adds the tag of a toddler program to them, so that we know if we have like a topic which is related to that, like specifically related to that. For example, we have a special offer. Maybe, I'm not sure how much that is Montessori related, but maybe you do, or maybe you introduced something new for the toddler program, or you got a new teacher for the guide for the toddler program. Then these are the guys to whom you would maybe send it. And even if they are not parents of your school yet, still you could send this information to them. Just so that they know, hey, they are doing something. So good would be if you could like segment them. But if you have emails like newsletters, which are interesting for everybody, I think there is a way that you can send it to everybody. But I think making different segments does make sense if you really want to focus on honing in on email marketing and providing like valuable information for them, like really specific information, because people feel good. They feel like they are heard if they get really specific information.
Yeah, imagine if somebody inquires about the toddler program and then you have a toddler email sequence, and you have videos of toddlers in your environment, and you have testimonials of parents of toddlers and those that have graduated your program. Like, I imagine how powerful that would be. You create that email sequence, and then you've got another sequence of primary students. When you have families come in who have 3-year-olds and are interested in that program, you pop them in that sequence. So that's where you really get them when they're interested at a particular program, versus only sending them the overarching idea of your school, right? Because I think you should probably send both. Would you agree with me on that, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, definitely.
And once all of those emails have gone out, let's say it's 4 or 5, and I bet we're going to get to like the sweet spot of how many generally do we want to send out, because that's always a sensitive area for Montessorians. How many emails do we send out without irritating our families too much? What happens after those sequences? Can we put them in the list with our current families? I know you kind of talked a little bit about that. But one thing, I actually had a great conversation with a school a couple weeks ago, and they were worried about giving prospects irrelevant information. Like, this is something in the classroom that's happening. Is it irrelevant or not? So there's just a lot of things to consider when you're moving one email address prospect to another.
I think, that's why email marketing is like not like a machine you can sort of switch on. I mean, you can create a machine sort of in a sense, but it really takes you a lot of time. But what you can do, for example, is you can segment out through sending an email to somebody who's like, let's say you have a newsletter list. You have everybody just in this list. And if you have a new program which you just open, like a high school program, for example, and you are now like, yeah, I would like to tell them more about it, but I don't know if all of them are interested in it. What you can do is you can send them one email saying, hey, we have opened this our new high school program is live. Would you like to know more about it? If so, please click here, and then you put in a button. And if they click, then they sort of get a tag added, and this tag adds them to another list or segment. I mean, it depends on which email service provider you're using. And then when they are on this list, they are getting your email sequence, which is talking about the high school program, for example. That's an example. But I know you were asking about what to do when they went through the sequence now. Well, I mean, ideally, they maybe never run out of the sequence, and you always like keep engaging them. And at some point, maybe you send like everybody on your list one new email for something else. So email marketing is really something where you have to, it is helpful to really set up a plan, like a plan for the whole year. And we will get to that actually also here. So where you're really talking about, where you're really thinking about what's the plan for your year, like how much, also revenue you want to create, like what's the goal, and which months are these slow months, and these kind of things. So yeah, ideally you would have a plan in place for this really set up. Right. It can take you some time, but once you have it set up, you have it there. It can be a machine for you.
Sure. And Elizabeth, I don't know if this exists or if you would be willing to have it exist, but similar to like content schedule, do you have a template or some resources that we could refer to when we think about creating that calendar and kind of helping us map out how this email marketing process could go?
Yeah, and I will get to it. We have it actually here, and I would like share it definitely with you guys, with everybody.
You are the master at this, so we definitely would appreciate those resources.
All right. So, but let us also keep in mind here for these emails, right? I mentioned these here on top, but also like acquisition or direct sales in case of special office or open house, for example. Like special office, I was thinking probably something like summer camps, right? I mean, these are like smaller products where I think you could probably generate or get them to purchase that online, right? For Montessori schools. Referrals, this is what I mentioned before. Do you work together with someone in the community, like local lunch delivery, or I mean, even a local carpenter, right? Why not like also talking about that? Not of course all the time or something, like you do once a shout out or something and say, hey, thank you to company XYZ, they came and they created this for us, and we are really happy that we can work together with them, because I think it gives a very warm and how to say, promoting and nice feeling. So I would think for parents to know that they send their children to school, which is promoting also the local community, which again, when it's all connected, it sort of gives it just a better structure, a better feeling. The school is very well embedded in the local community. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great one. And I was thinking too, when I was working at a school, oftentimes we would want to connect parents to each other because we've got lawyers and we've got doctors and we've got other teachers and pediatricians. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of resources that are out there. So we created this directory, and families could go to that. So it's similar to that, but you're saying specifically, let's say the school partnered with a carpenter that happens to also be a family at the school. Or, people in your community that also go to them, and you could create some business around, what they're doing. Include that in your email and create a testimonial and a referral piece in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just, it gives just such a great feeling, I think, for people. Like, first of all, of course, the family or the carpenter or the local lunch delivery company about whom you're writing, but also just for the people who are receiving it. I think it's just a win-win. It's really a nice way to do it, and just to support each other and work together and to create also this environment around yourself. I mean, it's not too far from the Montessori environment. Like, you're supporting the children to learn to learn by themselves. So let's also support like the local community, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's getting me excited about email marketing. This is fun.
So, but how do you know where to focus your email efforts on, right? Email marketing in general, it's simply marketing. So if you're already doing marketing, just use in email marketing what works, what worked in the past. But for this, we need to definitely understand the journey of a prospective parent from becoming aware of your school and the problem you're solving to becoming promoters. So that's basically what we have here. I will get to that in a second. Sorry. Email marketing, more than any other core discipline in digital marketing, has the ability to speed up the movement through these journey steps, right? So email marketing is really like is super helpful for that journey and can really help you with that. Whereas like here we get now to the steps. Number one is like becoming aware of your school, and maybe even sort of the problem. First, people would say you're looking for a school, for a private school for your child. You're not happy with the school where your child was before or something, or you're just looking for something different. And this is what is meant also by becoming aware. There are a few more like sub-steps in it, sort of. But this is then how people get to your website. They see an ad from you, or they find your website through Google search in their local area. And that's how they get to your website. That's step one. Step two is then that they engage online. They browse through your website and consume your content and your information. Now that's the reason why it's very important to have a good online presence, like a good website with like, yeah, with your information and your message and what you stand for, and also images so they can imagine their children there as well. So I think this is really important to have. So
and parents can blog as well. We always want that.
Yeah, exactly. To click around a bit and to read and to get engaged. And I think also I personally, when I go to a website, I always go to the About Us page. And I think probably with parents for a Montessori school or school ever, it's really important if you have like a nice About Us page with even a photo of your team or every team member. I think this is so important.
Yeah, we have a couple of members that do this so well, where they update, recent gatherings and events that they have, but also videos. And I think that there's two sides to it. There's, we're talking about what's on there, what your program is, but also a step inside of what your community looks like. And you can do that. And I think we should do that regularly, so that when somebody is becoming aware and engaging with your company online, you give that prospect to them, like you give that impression. So I love that.
Yeah, it's just so important nowadays. That's just the way it is. I mean, also you have to look from the time perspective, right? Nobody really has so much time anymore to really like do a lot of research. So going to a website and looking through it, I mean, first of all, it gives you a first impression. If you go to a website and you see it and it doesn't look good, it's maybe outdated or some things are missing, it's not like, it's incomplete. People are just more likely to leave, because you don't have the time to then maybe dig for the nuggets of gold, even if there's maybe somewhere good content. So really, that's really important to make sure that your website is like up to speed, up to date, that it looks like it matches the standards sort of from website, what is expected.
Mm-hmm. Lovely.
So, and then when people come to your website, okay, ideally is that you have an opt-in for a lead magnet. That's like a pop-up, right? You probably know that best would be like by accident or something. You can have it that it like pops up in the side, or that it is more subtle and maybe slides in at the bottom. There are options like that. And the lead magnet is That's a piece of information, a really valuable piece of information in exchange for your email address. But for most schools, we are using their tuition fee rates, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have a new blog on this too, which is amazing. It explains why a lead magnet is incredibly important, aside from your website. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we also have a very nice course about it, about a lead magnet, how you could create it.
Right.
And I think we do also have some other suggestions what we can use for lead magnets, right?
Yeah. A quiz is another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of our members is doing that now as they're going through, is Montessori right for your child? And then they can answer some questions.
Yeah.
And that's a really good way to also filter your prospects, because of course the people that are coming to us, we want to make sure that they fit our school well, and that the message we're giving them about our school is matching the message that they're looking for, and the principles that they're looking for in a school. So sometimes that's really helpful, like is this truly the type of school that I want? So I'm excited for that member especially to put this magnet out and see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many ways of how you can keep them on your side or also engage them. A quiz is very engaging, right? If you engage them with it and they work for it, they're also more likely to then give you the email address at the end.
Yeah, and it's about their child. So yes, of course,
yeah.
Of course they're going to want to take that quiz.
Exactly. So yeah, they're receiving value in advance and give you the email address for it. And then the next step is, that was the subscribe step. No, sorry, the subscribe step is then actually when they book a tour and they learn how your services work. And yeah, booking a tour, okay, it probably is not always easy if somebody just searches on Google to get this tour booked, because yeah, it requires a lot of commitment. Because it means I have to now get dressed and drive somewhere, right? I have to spend time, and it's quite some action I have to take. Mm-hmm. So here we can also make use of email marketing, right? And once we have their email address, we can follow up with them and we can offer them, hey, you can book a school tour with us if you want to know more, have any questions, right? Of course, we can do this a bit more subtle, but this is the idea for it, basically. Mm-hmm. And once they book the school, then they engage with us offline. That's the engagement offline. And then the next step, they are converting ideally. And I think I know from many schools, right, once they are there and they visited the school, that they are very likely to sign up actually for a program. And is that the case? There are definitely some schools who have really high conversion rates for that, right?
Yes, yeah, for sure. I don't have the numbers, but that is the goal. It is definitely a process, and we've gotten some pushback as far as putting schedule a tour directly on your website, because the fear for schools is that people are going to sign up that either don't match our program or they're the wrong age. The child is 5 and I'm really looking for 2-year-olds or something. So there's a little bit of fear there. But then also, when you're on your tour, if you have a broad picture and you're bringing them through, that will affect your numbers as far as if you're bringing them all the way through enrollment, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. If you are getting the tours, that's why paid ads are so important, right? We're not just driving a bunch of irrelevant traffic to your site. We're driving relevant traffic based on keywords and search terms that fit you and your school. You bring them in and they sign up for a tour. They tour your school and they fit you so well, and then they're more likely to sign up. So it kind of depends on the broader picture of what you have in place for your marketing and how you want to position that schedule a tour on the front end and the back end.
Yeah, of course it does make sense, but I think also and I could be wrong, but I would think somebody who decides, yes, I come there now physically and I tour the school. I mean, like I said, this is quite a commitment of time and action, because you have to step in your car, drive there, and now then meet with people and spend time, right, in a school or in a place where you have never been before. So I would think somebody who does that did do the research before. I hope so, at least. but I could be wrong, but I would think so, because it's quite a commitment.
Sure. That's the hope anyway, yeah.
So I guess, yeah, there are always like other situations. And I see we have also Amy here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If she has any questions, always welcome.
She is a lovely NITO member we've got. I think you're in Missouri, right, Amy? I think that's where you're at, which I believe is the Central Time. Lunchtime.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then like when you like sign them up for the program, right, and they get real value from your service, which I'm 100% convinced, because I mean, I don't know, I don't think that there is any other way. Like, it's a Montessori education, right? And they start saying nice things about you, right? And the final step, they become promoters, and they even suggest you to other families, I'm pretty sure. And I've seen it with so many of the schools we are working with, that they have really nice reviews, like really long reviews, and that then the promoter stage would go so far that yeah, they have parent volunteers who help out with like even some online work, some marketing. So I think this is, it's very common, and it's very very achievable, very much achievable, to get parents from becoming aware to the promote stage in the Montessori niche, right?
Right. This is we actually have a funnel in our members section that talks, it's like the Montessori admissions funnel, and it mimics exactly this. And it looks like a pyramid, and it's,
Yeah.
you know, I think this is an important thing to keep coming back to as we think about all the efforts we do in marketing, you know, is this is the journey, regardless of like, even, I mean, this is what marketers use, you know, as they're looking and working with businesses. So, and Montessori schools are no different. There's definitely little nuances we have to consider along the process, but the process is the same.
Well, actually, right, marketers borrowed this concept from psychology books. How relationships develop, right? I mean, if you get to know a new person, you wouldn't like waltz in their door and say, hey, let's have lunch tomorrow, right? You haven't seen this person before. So that's basically the concept of it. Like, if, for example, you get to know a new, like a friend of a friend, and you think, oh, that could be also a friend of mine. I think I like her, I like him, like they're really, it's really fun, or seems to be a very sympathetic person, right? You would go step by step, maybe like approach the person, talk a little bit, chit chat a little bit, and then maybe at some point you invite for a coffee, and you have a good chat with a coffee, over a coffee, and then you go like the next step, maybe like lunch, right? And this is sort of how it develops. You don't go like immediately, like right away in there, like in any relationship you have.
You know, so it's interesting because the perception of marketing in general is this like entity. If you're not really aware of it, or you don't really know how it works, it's like this thing, right, that we have to do because it's important, and you know, but we're not really excited about it. But the way you describe it, Elizabeth, is like, it's relationship building. That's really what it is. And the foundation of marketing strategies is relationship building. Now, obviously, we know that there are people that have taken this to the extreme, and you know, and this is, I'm hoping we'll get to this piece, but like making sure that we're targeting enough that we're not becoming noise in the space of this digital world where there's a lot of noise out there. But ultimately, it is about that relationship building, and that's the foundation of what we do in our schools. So if we could just shift our reference to marketing in that way, I think we'd get more excited about it.
Yeah, exactly. Not just seeing it as marketing. Like, I mean, there are differences, right? If you have a bad product, you can try and try whatever you want. You don't deserve to succeed. But our product, I mean, sorry to say product, I mean, it doesn't sound right, but it's education still. I mean, still, these Montessori schools, we have to like, we have to get parents to sign up, because of course this is how we make the school sustainable and continue, right, to work. So but it's such a good product in that sense. It's Montessori education. It brings a really huge value to the community, to people. Parents love it. Parents love to bring their children there. So there is no reason in the world why not to go out there and say, hey, we are here. We have like something great to offer to you. Don't you want to know more about us? And let's start building this relationship. We show you how it works. Come see it for yourself. That's basically what marketing is. You make them aware of yourself, and then you tell them more, and you show them around. You show them what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I hope that we're not afraid to say that. I think it's sometimes we get so into the way that we do education and we are, applying the methods that we know. If we kind of take an eagle eye view of what we are, we're offering a service for a price. That's a product. Like that's a, that is something we are selling. And yes, there are elements to it, human elements, very human elements of what we do. But ultimately, parents are purchasing something. We need to communicate what it is that they're purchasing and what their investment truly is getting. So I oftentimes, when I'm on the phone with members, we need to talk more about our transformation. How do we help children transform into the people they really, truly are meant to be? And if we can help communicate that at the very beginning, when they're becoming aware of us in that journey step, their journey is going to be so much more potent and valuable. And then at the end, at 7, you have them promote and then come back to 1. You have this like cycle of marketing that's just, it's a machine.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing when it's done so well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can totally understand. Marketing has really a grayish touch to it. Let's say people are like hesitant to try it out, right? Because everybody got approached by some weird marketing, like really some into the face ads where you thought, oh, geez, I don't want to be like that, right? Huh?
Yeah, a few probably,
Yeah.
like unsubscribing to many of them. Amy chatted in, she said, I like relationship building versus marketing or sales, because that's what it is. But relationship building signifies that human connection that Montessori is all about. It just goes hand in hand. It's just one of the key differences that makes Montessori different and exceptional.
Yeah.
Such a marketer, I love it. Because we want to make sure we're using that language, Amy, in our marketing tools, and I know you're doing it and you're doing it really well, because we want parents to see that and to feel it, so that when they do write the check, they know exactly, like they're engaged and they're ready for it. And then they're probably less likely to be unhappy because you've already given them all the information. Obviously we don't want to be making promises that are not easy for us to get to, but we can create this vision of journey for them. So love it.
Yeah, and again, just something to finalize that topic of the journey steps. I mean, that's just the world we are living in, right? That you have to create money to be sustainable. And that's how it works. And yes, in some situations, it can feel like uncomfortable. But I mean, that's just how it is. And I mean, every Montessori school has to play by the rules in order to keep going. So I think there is no need to be afraid of that, especially because Montessori is such a nice topic and product, to say it. So there's really no need to be afraid to try relationship building and try sending out maybe a few more emails as usual.
Yeah. And even, dare I say it, get competitive. We need to be competitive, much more competitive, because the child care center down the road is doing that. And they could have this information in front of them. But we know full out that the Montessori method is absolutely the answer to what we, want to see in this world. So we have to get competitive about it, because otherwise our voice is not heard, and we get lost in the shuffle, and then the louder voice wins, usually in this game, right?
Yeah, parents want to hear about it. They are also thankful if they hear about it. I'm pretty sure about that. Otherwise, right, they wouldn't be so happy. So yeah, no need to be afraid. So, okay, let's dive back into it. Here are the 3 types of emails. It's more like conceptual, right? So you understand what are the to sort of separate the emails and you understand how we can make use of them. We have like the transactional emails. This is like order confirmations, purchase receipts, account creation, return confirmations, support tickets, password reminders, and unsubscribed confirmation. These are like these emails which often get generated by the system. So they are automatically sent out. Support tickets, obviously not. But the rest of these, most likely they are. Relational emails, this is like, new subscriber welcome email. This is the welcome sequence we have talked about. Lead magnet delivery, excuse me. Newsletter, blog article, if we have like a general newsletter going out every week or every month. New blog article, webinar confirmation, that's what we have here with Nido Marketing, right? That's a relational email. Surveys and review requests. I talked about it before, like that we can ask them for a review. The parents, social updates, contest announcement, and referral requests. I spoke about this as well. Yeah, if we want to ask them, hey, like you want to refer, like you have referrals or refer somebody to us, and okay, then offer something for it. Like, I mean, I don't know, what would be here, what would be something what Montessori schools maybe would offer for a referral? Is there something like this?
Yeah, I mean, your current families for sure. You know, if you refer somebody, we can give you some money off.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there's even, if we go beyond that, if there's referrals to local businesses, and if they refer somebody to you, a family to you, could you give them some discounts as well? I'm sure there's opportunities there.
Yeah, again, right, to connect with the local community and other businesses in your area.
Right.
Which just makes you more stable. Like it is maybe another traffic source in a way, right? Because the more traffic sources or the more sources you have, the more stable you are. If you have all your eggs, is it eggs or apples in one basket? I'm not sure right now.
You choose. However you like to get them. They both go in baskets.
Okay. The more you have just all your eggs in one basket, let's say you just depend on one source, maybe you are just using Facebook, or you're just using Google, or you're just using word of mouth, you're very vulnerable, because what if this dries up, right? So it's always useful to have like different sources. So promotional emails, yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? Promotional emails, pretty straightforward. That's promotional content, like some special offer or sales announcement. New lead magnets, you have developed new lead magnets, you can also send that out to everybody. New product release, I think these things are pretty self-explanatory. Webinar announcement is also a promotional email. Or event announcements, like the AMS conference, for example, right? Things like that, of course, bigger events, trial offers and upgrade offers. Like, if you have one product and you offer them to upgrade to the next one. So, and I would like to also show you what are like the goals of these email types. So what's interesting here is that all of these different boxes get checked by the transactional email. And I think you would have never guessed it. Let's go back again. What were transactional emails again? Order confirmations, purchase receipts, account creation, and so on. Like, think about yourself. If you order something online, which emails are you always looking at?
I want to know when it's going to arrive.
That's right. Yeah. You want to know when it arrives. You get a password reminder. Obviously, you will be looking at this email, right? Account creation, obviously, you will be looking at this email. So these emails are a huge chance where you can put in something more, some more information, or a link to book a tour right away, or you can make a special, you can link to some more information on your page. Let's say you have one specific blog post on your website which explains a lot about your school. You can link to this, right? So these are really emails you can make use of. So the transactional emails, really, they tick all the boxes. Like, of course, they're customer service centric, whereas relational ones, which is like blog post and newsletter, not really. Promotional, no, also not. It's promotion, right? We want to promote something. So brand awareness, okay. Relational, definitely also brand awareness. Promotional, nah, not really. It's more like for promotion. So I find that interesting because it tells us that these transactional emails, which are just these normal generated emails, really can have a huge impact because almost everybody opens them. Open rates are huge for these. So if we have something like this, if you have like a website where parents can create an account, yeah, try to find out how you can make use of this account creation email.
So would you recommend, Elizabeth, like when you're thinking about transactional emails that are sent, and usually they're automated, do you include items in that you manually put, like a link to your Facebook page, or a link to your blog, or what would you recommend there?
I would see what fits. Like I would try different things, like what fits with this email, right? But I think definitely good that you mentioned that, like a link to the Facebook page and say, hey, follow us on Facebook, right? Because if you get somebody then to follow you on Facebook, then, well, you get also in front of them on Facebook. If you post something new on Facebook,
sure,
great, they will see it there. Or any other channels you're using. Or you can also like have then a link to book a tour on your page. Why not? Like, thanks for signing up. Hey, are you interested in booking a tour with us? Or just get in touch with us and then get to the contact page. Send us an email, a call.
The theme I keep hearing is just action. Like, we want to get them moving. So the ways that we can hit them in so many different angles as we're looking at the processes we already have in place, so that we can really engage our prospects and get them moving.
Yeah, but of course also like build a relation. So providing also content for them. Of course, not all the time just, hey, contact us. It's also, of course, you have to build also a relation with them, right? It's a relationship building, like we just talked about. Right. So you want to give also something, and you want to like also bring them into it. So if somebody signs up for a new account, maybe that's a great chance to link to one of your blog posts. Maybe you have a blog post about what you always wanted to know about Montessori education, right? Because this person is at the beginning of the journey, so it probably makes sense to send this kind of article to this person. Or what to think about when signing your child up for a private school or for a Montessori school. Again, right? These are topics which make sense at the beginning of the journey. Or yeah, like engaging them also. And then at the bottom, maybe you can have like, hey, here, you can also connect with us on Facebook, would be super nice.
Right.
These type of things. Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. So then the two send types and mistakes made in email marketing sometimes. So send types, they are pretty straightforward. We have the broadcast, which is the newsletter. The newsletter is a broadcast. That means that we are just manually sending an email. We are writing it and we are sending it manually to everybody just right now. Or promotion, right? Can be the same. But not every promotion should be sent to the entire list. So segmentation is key, what we talk about. And triggered emails, yeah, these are these email sequences. So new subscriber welcome email, the lead magnet delivery, or registration confirmation, purchase receipt, segmented promotion, referral requests, cart abandonment, right? I mean, I think everybody of us has gotten a cart abandonment email in the past, right? And re-engagement, that also can be a triggered email. So triggered, does that make sense, right? It's triggered and then they just get sent out. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
And yeah, mistakes which sometimes get made in email marketing, like failing to follow up with new subscribers. I have seen it many times. That I was on some page and I was like, engage with it, and I signed up for the newsletter. And I never heard back from them. And then like, I don't know how much later, months, maybe a year, they wrote me an email and I was like, did I ever sign up for them? Who are they, right? And I unsubscribed. So I think it happens to so many of us, and it's really a big mistake. When you get somebody on your list, engage with them. Like, introduce yourself to them. Say, hi, this is me. We are doing this and that. Thank you for signing up. And here is what you want to know. Like, yeah, welcome them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have a dead email list. And it's weird. That's like the situation, this like meeting somebody somewhere saying, like you think, again, this friend of a friend, and you think, oh, he's cool. Like, then you say, maybe we could meet for a coffee. She or he says, yes. And you never follow up. And like, I don't know, 2 months later, you see the person again, or 3 months later, and you say, hey, what's with the coffee? And it's like, maybe weird, you know?
Exactly. Yes. One tool that's really good that I've been using, I enjoy it with when NITO members come, is I'll send them a Bonjour video saying, hey, I'm happy you're, a part of our group. Here are a few things I want you to check out. Here's what's going on with what we're doing. And I find that, it takes like 3 minutes out of our day. And it's automated. So, I think, Elizabeth, you've helped with this as well, and a couple other people on our team to make that happen. And so you definitely have to have some technical aspects. So you're not having to manually put in the email and write the message, because then your 3 minutes becomes 15 minutes. But you can, do some of these tricks where as soon as someone signs up for an email list, you could just shoot them a quick bonjour within 24 hours. And they see that you see them. Because I think that's, we all know that's the core of human connection, is we want to be seen. And so if we're able to incorporate that when we first see them, or actually when they first see us, really, then, that's reciprocated.
Yeah. This is a great way of doing it, definitely. And I think for Montessorians, this is definitely a really great idea, because it's not that you're gonna get thousands or hundreds of email subscribers, I assume. Right? So I'm pretty sure it pays off to make these short videos. You can also use Loom for it, right? Also an option. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then another mistake, like sending really the exact same email to everyone in a list. Okay, I mean, we have to sort of exclude newsletters here. But sometimes our newsletters have like a little bit more of a specific topic as main point. So if you can, maybe not send it to everybody. But if it's really something what like really is for the whole school and really could be interesting for everybody, I think it can be all right. Maybe this last thing is more like in general for like larger email audiences who have more an opportunity to really segment out and like really many different specifics. So this has to be taken with a bit grain of salt. But number one definitely is something we have to keep in mind. And that was kind of interesting, right? I live in Malta. Malta is in the European Union. And last year we had this new law come into play, GDPR, for general data protection, something like that. And the idea of it was that now everybody has to have control over their data online everywhere, which then meant that everybody who had your email and was operating in the European Union, either they were in the European Union or they were working with the European Union, they had to make sure that you are voluntarily on this list. So for like 3 months, I think every day I was getting like 2 or 3 emails from some random companies who came out of the woodworks. I didn't remember that I ever signed up for them, and they were asking, hey, do you want to stay on my on our email list, right? And that's one of these cases. Like I signed up like ages ago, totally forgot about it, and now like when this GDPR, this new law came into play, they came out of the woodworks.
Interesting. Huh.
It was
a nice way to clean things up. Like where your email address is, so you don't have to keep getting new ones.
that was also an interesting part about it, definitely. And if you then didn't confirm, they had to remove you from the list, so you just didn't do anything.
Got it.
And supposedly you're removed now, I hope.
Wow. That's a lot.
It was really
fun. On that team. Like just having to constantly track where the emails are.
Yeah. Just can't.
Right.
So let's get to creating our promotional calendar. Like in order to get started with it, it does make sense to fill out promotional asset sheets for each of your programs. Now, I mean, it is very like now marketing based, but I think this step is really important for you to really know like what you have. Although I think it is probably pretty clear for you that you have these different programs, but still, it just gives you like a moment to think about it again, like what you are offering. Like, hey, the name of the product or the service. Okay, here we would have then the toddler program, then the full price, and if you have a sale price. Where does the buying transaction occur? Is it like online, over phone, or in person? Yeah, that's I think also something interesting for yourself to think about. Where does it most often occur that people actually then continue into the transaction process? Have you sold it via email before? I guess probably not, right? Because it's not that often. It's, how to say, uncommon.
Right.
And did it work? Like if you did send it via email. And when did you promote this program? Like the last time? And how many emails did you send for it? And is it currently available to promote? Like, can you, like, do you have currently spots left in the toddler program, for example? So yeah, that would be the next one. If no, why not?
Right.
I think it's just a good way of like thinking about your products and your programs. So, and then this is then the last part of the promotion calendar, and this is the part which takes the longest, I'm pretty sure. But it is very useful for all your campaigns. So as you can see, we have it here, promotion and planning worksheet. So for every month, we would write down the goals. Like start with the 12-month revenue goals. Where do you want to be, right? And this, I think, is really important because it gives us something like a benchmark where we can think about, like, to which we can stick, or we can orient ourselves to it, right? Also list non-revenue goals, like launching a new blog, or maybe writing a book, or maybe you're opening a new location, or what else could it be? What are other things, Danine, which could be happening outside of this?
Well, you could have open houses.
Correct, exactly. Open houses.
Yeah, like fall festivals or spring flings, or definitely your events calendar could be that. Although there also are some revenue goals, which you've got, like an annual fundraising event. Most schools do. So would that? I mean, that would obviously play into this. That would be helpful, I imagine.
I mean, let's be honest, if you do fundraising, it's promotion, right? I mean, you go there and you promote your school. You say, this is our school, and I mean, you market it. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't want to give you the funds, right? You have to introduce and present your school. So I would say this definitely fits into here. Maybe there is a way for you to get access to an email list of these fundraising. I mean, I'm not 100% sure how it works, but I assume it's like an event with people who attend, or you invite them. How does this work, like a fundraising event?
Usually you're working with your current families. You invite them to invite others as a part. You can also go into your community and promote the event, depending on how, if it's specifically for your community, on how you design it, or if it is for the broader community that you've got. So it depends on what the school's goals are.
Yeah, maybe there is a way to get access to an email list before, or collect email lists. Maybe you have a paper lying at the entrance next to you, at the entrance area in your school or something, right? So that you could also schedule in this promotion. Why not, right? I mean, this can all be scheduled, and you can all, like, if you have it scheduled out and clearly targeted, and you always know, this month we do this month we do that. Well, it's so easy for you to incorporate this into your content, like the content planner and calendar, and writing about it, maybe a blog post. And then you can promote this blog post via your email list, right? So it really goes together. And if you have these targets and really this promo set, you just also always have a guideline. You never have to really think about it, which I think is another thing which is super helpful with this. So yeah, slot holiday promotions, slot annual promotions into the appropriate month. Denote also seasonality, right? Slow and busy months. What are the busy months? What do you think? What would you think?
Well, admission season usually runs from January till, well, usually there's a re-enrollment period from January till March, and then the new enrollment from March until either full. So it could be throughout the summer or not. And then you create your waiting list, which is ideal. So that's when a lot of the prospecting for the next year happens. So it's a lot of activity around that time.
Yeah, and that's exactly the reason why it's so useful to have a promotional planning worksheet or a promotional calendar, right? Because you have to pre-plan for the next season. And I mean, schools are doing this, I'm pretty sure, and maybe everybody already has some type of calendar in place. And if not, they should. So I think it really makes sense, and it would make things so much easier. You really know what to talk about in emails or in content and what to focus on. And yeah, also slot non-revenue goals into the appropriate month, like, yeah, open house, exactly. Or summer camps. Although, I mean, promoting the summer camps, again, I assume summer camps should bring you or will bring you also some revenue, but then the summer camps by themselves, I mean, they're just the summer camps, you're busy with that, right? So you're not gonna be focusing too much on anything else. Oops. Yeah, and then again, add revenue projections, set promos plus rebuilds and subscription. Okay, that's although it is kind of subscription, but it's also not subscription because I think it's a bit like hard to say if Montessori is a subscription product. No, it's not, because you're not really subscribing. I mean, after some time, you decide if you go then in the next year.
Well, the hope is they subscribe for your whole program.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a year program, it's the 3-year cycle. And then from the 3-year cycle, we have another one in elementary. And then if you're lucky enough to have a middle school, you cycle them in. So I've actually been talking with some schools about that. It's just like making sure to help parents understand that this is not just a preschool program.
Yeah.
Depending on your school, of course, but we are a school that goes through all throughout, elementary and middle school. So keeping that in mind for sure.
Yeah, actually, absolutely. Yeah, I was just thinking about it. Totally makes sense. So you can calculate these projections into it, right? You can say, okay, I have this many children right now in elementary school. I'm projecting that at least 8 out of 10 will continue in middle school, right?
Right.
From your project, from maybe previous years, and from your experience with the parents or teachers or whatever, you can project that. And then you can focus on like hitting this target. And if you even go higher, great. If not, then you think, okay, maybe I have to improve something.
Right. That's right. And Elizabeth, we've got a couple more minutes before we've got to wrap up. So I want to make sure that we get as much in as we can and we don't miss too much. Okay.
Well, that is actually my last slide here. And yeah, it's about like which email campaigns for Montessori, like Montessori schools make sense, of course. The triggered emails, triggered was again, right? It's not a broadcast, gets just triggered automatically. That's the welcome email sequence. In-doc and engage sequence, we call it in our members area. And I just wanted to mention what are the prerequisites for this. We have also courses on these topics, or short videos in our members area, which are quite good. I just like recently watched them, like lead magnet, how to build a lead magnet. And we can definitely help on that as well. We have a lot of material for it. Then a MailChimp account or any other email program. We mostly use MailChimp, or right, our schools mostly use MailChimp. It's just, it's a free tool from the beginning, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward to handle. Then a list and a campaign inside MailChimp. Again, we have a course on that, and a pop-up, creating a pop-up. Now, you can create a pop-up with MailChimp. It's not as straightforward. There are also other ways to create them. Other tools, Popin is one of them. I like that one as well. We use also Opt-in Monster a lot and help our members with Opt-in Monster. Opt-in Monster is really great. You can do so many nice designs with it. Then the next email type is the broadcast, which is the one which gets like manually sent, right? You write it and then you manually send it to either all of your subscribers or a part of them. It's a newsletter. You use it for information. You use it for promotions like the summer programs. You use it for announcements and updates. And then the last one is like the broadcast, which triggers a list of emails. I've touched on that before. This is when you send like one email to your subscribers and you say, hey, we have a new summer program coming up. Would you like to know more about it? If so, then please press this button here. When they push the button here or click this link, they get subscribed to this email list and then they get more information. So for that, you're not like just bugging everybody with this information when you want to like tell them more about it, but you segment them. You segment them out. Yeah, again, for promoting, informing about your different programs. You can also use this for, of course, the different programs. Yeah, I would suggest to do one for each program, and it lets you also tag them so you know which programs these parents are interested in. But of course, you always have to make sure when the children grow that the parents then are not interested in these programs anymore.
Yeah, you got to maintain that list for sure.
So, okay, that was it. And we have definitely also some email templates we can use and we can provide, or we can talk about more at some other meeting. So are there any questions?
Yeah. So, well, firstly, I just want to thank you, Elizabeth. This was incredibly thorough. And I appreciate you kind of going off with me on tangents because sometimes it can get really difficult to apply a lot of these things to our work in Montessori schools. So I just appreciate you addressing that and supporting us with that. I hope that it was useful, and I hope that this can be something that many of our members can come back to when we think about how we're doing our marketing and email especially. But I think there's also some lingering questions, which maybe we can have you back again. I'd love to have you back with how to segment your sequence enough. Where's the sweet spot of how many emails we're doing in a given time without bombarding our parents with they're bombarded by and you hinted at it here and there, and I think it's it's a helpful thing, but if we could talk specifically about that, I think that could give some of our members some confidence to take this on, because it's a lot to take on.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're asking that, because I also felt like when you had a question that definitely it makes sense to get this clarified. So yeah, I would be happy to come on another call and we talk about that. I collect some specific information for this and try to show you in MailChimp how to segment it out and how to create these different lists and show you how it works. I know that the free MailChimp account has a few little bit of restrictions, but it has some ways of making it happen as well.
That would be awesome, actually, if we could do, because similar, we had patients on last week and we ended up coming up with like, let's just do a mini workshop. So we're going to do a 10 to 15 minute call next week on Facebook Live, just taking some writing and moving it into a blog format. So I know you've done before as well. It's like, you take these ideas, and reading a blog is very different than reading an essay. And I know that was a learning curve for her, but I imagine if we do similar things when we're talking about email marketing, if we could do a mini workshop on that particular topic, I think that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I am totally happy. Now you see yourself here, right? I moved it here. So
yeah, awesome. Well, and Amy, thank you for joining us. And we're always happy to have live chatting and guests here, but we will be back next week for sure. And then Elizabeth, I'll book you for one of those smaller versions of our time.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Also, thank you for attending.
Yeah, absolutely.
And okay.
All righty, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.